Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
The cold weather sweeping over San Antonio, and now we're expecting rain in a few hours.
Here's a live look over San Antonio with Sky 12 tonight. The rain expected to impact the morning commute. So we're going to bring in our meteorologist, Sarah Spivey. Sarah, tell us about the timing.
Yeah, it looks like right like what you guys said, morning commute, even into the mid-morning hours. That's when we expect the heaviest of the rainfall. But all in all, today was a cool day. We got it up to about 59 degrees. That's it, 5 degrees cooler than average. Here's a look at the timeline for you as we head into the overnight hours and start to get into early tomorrow morning. You can see that really it's after dawn that we start to see our rain chances really spread around San Antonio. Scattered showers and storms. Here's what you got to plan for. A soggy morning commute tomorrow with that rain lingering through about lunch. Also, plan for some good, healthy rainfall. Widespread, about ½ an inch to an inch of rain around San Antonio. Pockets of even more rain are possible in some places. We'll be watching for a strong storm or two with gusty winds being the main threat. But again, I'm excited about the potential for rain. We need rain here in San Antonio. I'll be back with a look at an hour-by-hour timeline for your day tomorrow. Steve.
Sounds good. Thank you, Sarah. A population boom and changing weather patterns, all changes that could be putting your property in a flood zone.
The San Antonio River Authority is answering questions about the draft floodplain maps that are going to become official in a few years. But this is super important because they're going to affect how much you're going to pay for your home insurance.
Yeah, the Night Team's Patty Santos tells us what flood areas have expanded.
That represents where the floodplain might increase with future development.
Using data and rainfall estimates, San Antonio River Authority drafted updated flooding maps for all of Bexar County. On the map, these strip zones have a 1% chance of flooding every year.
We can never predict exactly when they will hit, and sometimes it is the middle of a drought, and it's gone from dry months upon months, and then all of a sudden a big one hits.
Owners in and around areas already prone to flooding like creeks, rivers, and water runoffs, listen up. Some flood areas have narrowed while others have widened, like this one near Highway 90 and Frio City Road, and this here near Toms Lake Park.
It spills between Slick Ranch Creek and Leon Creek, and there's not necessarily deep flood risk, but a wider flood risk through that neighborhood.
The maps will become official by FEMA in a few years, and it could impact insurance costs and future construction.
If you are no longer in a flood zone, you may not technically need a flood policy, but again, if it rains, it can flood.
Rebecca Nelson with USAA says once a year, property owners and renters need to review their insurance policies and understand their risk of flooding. Don't put it off till the storm arrives.
So a standard homeowner's policy does not cover flooding. It's really important to understand that. And it takes 30 days to become active.
To fully understand what to do, the San Antonio River Authority is hosting a series of meetings. Just tell them your property address and they will walk you through the draft map.
And the next meeting is tomorrow at the IGO Library. We have information on all those meetings on KSAT.com. It's also important, they say, to take into account that, other factors could play into flooding like new construction. Steve, Stephania.
Thank you, Patty. New on the Nightbeat, a deadly wreck. 7 people killed. A young passenger appears to be the only survivor. She's being treated here in San Antonio. The Department of Public Safety says that head-on crash happened in Comal County near the Buffalo Springs crossing just last night. We went back to the scene of this crash on FM 2722. We found markings still on the roadway. The investigators say just after 6:15 last night, a black Ford F-150 veered into oncoming traffic and hit a black Chrysler Aspen. The adult driver and passenger in the truck were killed. The 3 adults and 2 juveniles in the Chrysler also killed. As we said, 1 young patient taken to University Hospital for treatment. Identities have not been released.
Now to the mysterious death of businesswoman Andreen McDonald. Her remains were found almost 4 years ago in North Bexar County, and today was the first day that her husband was on trial. He's accused of murder, but his defense lawyers say it was all an accident.
It's about responsibility. He has taken responsibility, but it's simply not murder.
Now, the defense argues the case should be about manslaughter. Prosecutors say, though, that they looked through Andre's phone and they found a few things.
How long does DNA last outdoors? Do you always leave fingerprints? Does fire destroy fingerprints? How long does it take for an unburied body to decompose?
Prosecutors allege that Andre McDonald called his sister-in-law 3 days ago. That sister-in-law took the stand and said that during that phone call, Andre admitted to killing his wife after they fought over a business that was in Andreen's name. She said that Andre claimed that he wanted to tell them the truth instead of having them learn it in court. Jurors are going to hear from more witnesses in this case tomorrow. By the way, you can also watch the trial live on KSAT.com, the KSAT Plus app, and on KSAT's YouTube channel.
San Antonio Councilman Clayton Perry set to face a judge tomorrow. It's the first time since police say he drove drunk and fled a head-on crash 2.5 months ago. The District 10 councilman is a pretrial conference via Zoom in both of those cases against him. Now, those cases are tied to the November 6th hit-and-run crash near his Northside home. At first, Perry only charged with failing to stop and give information. In late December, he was booked for DWI as well. San Antonio police accused Perry of downing 14 drinks in 4 hours at the Evil Olive Bar before the crash happened. The Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission investigating allegations of over-serving at that bar. In the meantime, the business is allowed to stay open during the investigation. Councilman Perry returned from a leave of absence a week and a half ago, telling fellow council members he had followed, quote, appropriate measures, end quote, as recommended by medical experts. But he's refused to give more details about his decision to return to his council seat. Perry also hasn't said whether he plans to run again to represent District 10 as its councilman. So far, no one has filed a run for the seat in the May 6th city election, but that filing period does run through February 17th.
And now to that developing story surrounding a shift in school schedules. Last week, we told you that Harlandale ISD may move to a 4-day school week. And tonight, Livonia ISD discussed that very option. The school board showed parents results from 2 focus groups. As the night team's Lee Waldman reports, parents in the district, though, are still split on the idea.
I'm for it. I know some of the challenge with the district was having retention. Being out here, some of the teachers that don't live in town and have to commute makes it a lot easier on them.
It seems to be a fairly even split amongst Livonia ISD parents when it comes to the possibility of a 4-day school week.
For the kids, I haven't seen the benefit, so I'm not convinced yet, but I kind of sit on the fence. I'm not saying absolutely not, but I'm just not totally for it yet.
So in the month of November. Tonight, Dr. Helen Wiesenhunt with LVISD presented results from 2 focus groups to the school board. They looked at student data like attendance and substitute teacher trends in the district. Both showed upticks on Fridays. Most of the calendar options offered include Fridays off, but it's not clear how the change could impact student academics.
The other districts in Texas at this moment that are practicing a 4-day instructional week do not have similar demographics to Livonia ISD. Of all the ones currently doing it, there really isn't anybody that's completely comparable to us.
She says the district is working with the local YMCA to help with childcare for working parents, along with transportation and meals. While the focus group included several parents, board members say they want to see one more town hall with parents before a decision is made.
I just feel like we don't have a true enough picture of what all of our parents really, impact. I mean, I'm just concerned if we skip the town hall again.
That was going to be my comment too. Is do we have any way of relaying this information to the community to get some feedback before the vote?
No decision was made tonight. Tonight's meeting was just to prepare the board if they do come to a vote on their next meeting that's happening in February. Now, if the board does give the go-ahead, that's when they'll begin to work out calendars and staffing. Reporting live in Livonia, Lee Waldman, KSAT 12 News.
Lee, thank you. And now for a look at some of today's big headlines in your Nightbeat News Flash. The power grid continues to be top of mind. San Antonio's utility wants to expand to other energy sources. The CPS Energy Board of Trustees voted on a plan that would help power San Antonio through 2030. It appears to be moving away from coal plants and the energy they produce The new plan would blend gas, solar, wind, and energy storage. Now, a woman hurt in a crash could go from the hospital to the local jail. San Antonio police believe that she's a suspect in a car burglary that led up to a crash. Happened near Culebra Road. Police say the 64-year-old woman broke into a car, then got into a fight with the car's owner. That fight then spilled over onto the street where both the woman and man were hit by another vehicle. Now, the man is expected to be okay, but the woman is in the hospital. And by the way, the driver did stop at the scene, so that person is not facing any charges. 7 people killed at a California farm and a trucking farm south of San Francisco. The suspect is in custody, but police are still looking for a motive. And that's also what other investigators are doing after a shooting in Monterey Park, California. Today, another person died in that weekend shooting at a Lunar New Year celebration, so that brings the death toll to 11. Police say that a 72-year-old man opened fire on a dance hall. The suspect then went to another dance hall where someone managed to wrestle his weapon away. According to one of his longtime acquaintances, he was a regular at both of those dance studios. Officers say the suspect then shot himself. And that's a look at your Nightbeat News Flash.
You're still ahead on the Nightbeat, the newest hot commodity reportedly crossing the border. The warning from U.S. officials and what it could cost potential smugglers if they're caught. Plus, a new change on the horizon since the COVID-19 pandemic began. The shift the FDA is considering to simplify the vaccination process.
And a body found more than 5 years ago, and now the Bexar County Medical Examiner has a new clue in the case. So they want to show you something. And you'll see it next on the Nightbeat. Welcome back. Now, I want you to take a really good look at your screen. Do you recognize that person? The Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office is sharing this postmortem sketch because it doesn't know who this man is. So do you? The medical examiner says this case goes all the way back to August 24th of 2017. That man's body was found on the side of a roadway in East San Antonio. He's believed to have been 5'11", 270 pounds. So if you know who he is, call the medical examiner's investigative unit. Their number is 210-335-4011.
The FDA considering a major shift in the COVID-19 response, specifically when it comes to administering vaccines against the illness. The goal is to simplify the entire process and make it more like getting a flu shot. That would mean assessing what COVID strands are circulating in June and then preparing a dose for the fall.
Messaging that is more simple of when you should get your next shot, essentially, I think will be helpful for those people who do have the intention to stay immunized and on top of their vaccines.
The Food and Drug Administration says the plan is to create a single annual shot to bolster immunity for most people. But those with certain risk factors might actually need 2 shots. Vaccine Advisory Committee is set to meet Thursday to discuss this new plan.
So we've all heard of drugs being smuggled across the border, but eggs? Yeah. Now agents are sending out a warning after seeing a rise in attempts to smuggle eggs from Mexico into the U.S. Ever since the avian flu wiped out millions of hens, eggs have been a lot more expensive. And you add that to prices for transportation. U.S. Customs officials say that more people are trying to get around that by smuggling eggs. The director of field operations warns that it's illegal to cross the border with uncooked eggs without informing a border official. And listen, because this is, you should really pay attention to, it can cost you up to $10,000.
Some new incentives to get the blood pumping. The South Texas Blood and Tissue Center is now offering a chance to win a PlayStation 5 and a 65-inch TV. All you need to do is make a blood donation by February 3rd. The goal is to boost our blood supply. Our community's only had about 2.5 days worth of blood, only a day for type O. So if you'd like to help donate, just scan the QR code on your screen. The goal is to have 6 days worth of blood on hand at all times. We haven't been there in a while, though. Remember, the chance to win the gaming console comes with a blood donation through February 3rd.
Good luck. Roll up your sleeves.
Roll up your sleeves for a PlayStation.
Live look right now over the torch of friendship. I'm looking at that 53 degrees. And what I'm hoping is that our lawns are going to look a lot healthier tomorrow.
I think they will. Stephanie, I think we're going to get at least half an inch to an inch of rain around San Antonio from this very impressive system that's now pushing into Texas as we speak. Take a look at your screens. You can see that right near El Paso, we're starting to see some wintry mix move into El Paso. And this is all around that low pressure system, which is continuing to push eastward. And it's going to create some wintry weather for a good portion of Texas, especially the Panhandle, North Texas around the Red River up to Oklahoma City. This is a very dynamic system. Not only is it going to be bringing winter weather to parts of Texas, but even some severe weather for areas closer to Galveston. We'll talk a little bit about that in a bit, but first I want to take you through San Antonio's forecast, right? Here's a look at the futurecast over the next couple of hours. We expect some showers to develop west of San Antonio, even a few showers in the pre-dawn hours around here, and then closer to dawn, that's when we'll start to see more scattered activity work its way into San Antonio. So the morning commute tomorrow is going to be damp in spots. Take some time to have a plan early tomorrow morning to leave about 15 minutes earlier than you usually do. And then as a front approaches, we'll really start to see the more heavier of the rain, more organized rain move through San Antonio close to mid-morning hours, 10 o'clock in the morning, hopefully after you're already at work and the kids are already at school. And then as we head into the lunch hour, all of that rain will push to the east. It'll start to become sunny here in San Antonio. But as these storms move east, they are going to organize a little bit better. So severe weather risk does exist primarily east of San Antonio toward Gonzales, Cuero, Karnes City, Victoria. There could be a risk for some damaging wind gusts and even a quick spin-up tornado well east of San Antonio. But again, we'll be seeing tons of sunshine in San Antonio after about noon. This is the area that is under the risk for some severe weather. Some tornadoes possible for Victoria, Bay City area, El Campo, even Galveston area could see some tornadoes. Here, though, in San Antonio, we are outside of the Storm Prediction Center's risk for severe weather. We will, however, be monitoring for a strong storm or two right around 10 o'clock in the morning. But here's the good news. I do anticipate at least half an inch to an inch of rain around San Antonio, even higher amounts east of San Antonio for areas like Seguin, Gonzales, Hallettsville, and Lake. Taking you through the KSAT 12-hour forecast, cold in the morning in the 40s, about 60 to 80% coverage through about 11 o'clock in the morning. Then we'll start to see clearing, and it's going to get windy. Sunny and windy in the afternoon. High temperature of 60, but winds could gust up to 35 miles per hour to even 40 miles per hour in the afternoon. Looking at the 7-day forecast, after that good chance for rain tomorrow morning, cold in the mornings, 30s. Afternoons will be near 60 degrees. Our next chance for rain comes over the weekend, but again, the best chance for rain is tomorrow morning, guys.
We're all very excited. Thank you.
All right, a little late night Spurs action.
Yeah, Spurs are in Portland. You start a very, well, I wouldn't say critical 3-game road trip, but it's going to be a very busy week. 4 games in the next 6 nights here, starting tonight in Portland. And guess what? They're going toe-to-toe with the Trail Blazers. A very high-scoring first half. Early highlights to show you coming up. And when is the last time you heard an NFL owner apologize for his team's performance? Coming up.
We've got a locker room full of sick players and coaches to go along with literally hundreds of thousands of Cowboy fans that are sick.
Jerry, obviously,
I'm sorry.
Hear that? I'm sorry. Jerry Jones actually apologizing for the Cowboys' poor performance against the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC divisional playoffs at Big Boy Sports. But first, it is game day. Our San Antonio Spurs kick off a 3-game West Coast road trip tonight in Portland, taking on the Trail Blazers. Good start for the Silver and Black, thanks to a great effort from the rookie, Jeremy Sohan. First, his tip won't go. He gets the rebound and gets blocked, but he stays with it. Eventually gets a layup to make it 12-9 Spurs. Then a few minutes later, Keldon Johnson cuts through the defense for the lay-in. 17-11 San Antonio. Final seconds of that frame now. Kick out to Doug McDermott in the corner, and it hits the triple. Spurs trail, though, 40-38 after 1. Second quarter, Sohan keeps the offense rolling, spinning under the basket and finding Romeo Langford for a wide-open 3. Spurs and Blazers were tied at 74 all at halftime. That's where we stand right now, just getting ready to start that third quarter.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
Another frustrating finish for the Dallas Cowboys and their fans, and for the second season in a row at the hands of the San Francisco 49ers. And what makes it even more unbelievable is that a rookie in Brock Purdy outplayed a seasoned veteran Dak Prescott at quarterback by not turning the ball over. After his incredible playoff performance in Tampa Bay, the Cowboys were hoping for a repeat in Santa Clara last night, and instead Prescott pressed and gave up 2 interceptions. It should have been 4 on the night, but luckily for Prescott, the Niners could not secure the ball the 2 other times in the 19-12 loss. That's 15 for the regular season, 2 against the Niners in the playoffs. After the game, Prescott made this promise.
2 tonight, as I said, unacceptable. I can't put the ball in jeopardy like that, whether they're tipped up in tight throws or whether I'm late on a stop route. Just can't happen. And the number that it's gotten to is ridiculous. And I can promise that the number will never be this again. I can promise that.
Now, as much as Dak Prescott throwing 2 more interceptions in that 19-12 loss to the San Francisco 49ers wrecked their chances of advancing to the NFC Championship game for the first time in 27 years, so did the injury to running back Tony Pollard. Most everyone felt this was the turning point in the game when Pollard was dragged down by Jimmy Ward, and as you can see, that ankle gives. At first, it was diagnosed as a high ankle sprain, but after being carted off the field, it was revealed that he fractured his fibula. That will require surgery and 3 months rehabilitation. What makes it worse, he comes in a contract year.
I mean, losing Tony was obviously a shot. Tony is probably clearly one of our most, if not the most productive player.
He's a special teammate, a special player, and obviously, that one hurt. Hurt us. Wasn't able to create as many explosive plays as we planned. I'm sure he would have been a big part of some of those had he not gotten hurt.
All right, also during the game, all eyes were on the kicker, Brett Maher, after he missed 4 straight extra points in that wild card game. And his first attempt against the 49ers was blocked, even though it looks like he was going to pull it left anyway. It prompted this response from Texas Governor Greg Abbott in a tweet that went viral last night. "I swear I can kick as good as a Dallas Cowboys kicker." But all of this seems to be pale in comparison when it comes to the last play of the game. A goofy formation that, if you look closely, features Ezekiel Elliott at center, who gets pancaked before Kevontae Turbin gets dropped in his tracks, and that's ball game.
I really don't want to get into detail of it, but that's obviously wasn't the plan, So, I mean, it's obviously a gadget player or whatever. It's a last play situation call that we practice. So.
The frustration clearly boiling over after the game for head coach Mike McCarthy, who's captured by this Associated Press photographer of appearing to shove the camera of a Dallas broadcast photographer. That photographer is Noah Bullard, who works for the Dallas NBC affiliate, and tweeted this after the incident. "I can see how the photo appeared like he pushed me, but it was more of a hand to the lens. I did meet with Coach McCarthy privately in his office, and he did apologize." What happens for those who bought tickets to a neutral site AFC Championship game? That's not going to happen. Next.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
After the regular season game between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills was canceled due to the cardiac arrest of Damar Hamlin, the NFL determined that if the Bills won on Sunday, they would have to face the Kansas City Chiefs at a neutral location in Atlanta. But that didn't happen. The Bengals won, and now the AFC Championship game will be held in Kansas City. Cincinnati feels some sympathy for fans looking for refunds and league officials who had to plan ahead.
They have to formulate the plans for coin tosses, and they got to formulate the plans for neutral site games, and we just keep screwing it up for everybody. And I hate that for people that have to endure all those logistical issues, and then we just keep screwing it up. So I'm sorry.
And how many plane tickets did people buy to Atlanta to get ready for the game, too?
I think he's sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, okay,
that's what I
right.
think. I think he's like, yeah.
I think they're just a little miffed that everybody thought they weren't going to win.
Right.
That's why they made those plans.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, Greg.
We'll be right back after this. Well, that does it for us. Good Morning San Antonio starts at 4:30.